Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to be learning about converting fractions and mixed numbers with a denominator of 10 to decimals. And we spoke a little bit about this just yesterday. We spoke about the whole number place value, ones being the smallest, and then tens, and then hundreds. But once we go less than ones, and we have less than a whole, we're going to use the decimal point. The decimal point is our way to see that we're no longer talking about whole numbers. The first place value after the decimal point is called the tenths place. So we're talking about this yesterday. We used models, and we mentioned that if we had a 4 in the tenths place, that's the same thing as saying 4 tenths. 4 tenths as a fraction looks like 0.4 as a decimal. So today, let's practice this some more. Let's look at the fraction 3 tenths. 3 tenths we read as 3 tenths, and as a decimal it would be 0.3 or 0.3. Now 0.3 just means there's no whole numbers. You don't really need the 0 there, but it's often a good idea because that way you don't ignore the decimal point. Same idea with a larger fraction. If I have 9 tenths, that would be 0.9 or 0.9. That says 9 tenths. Now I want you to try one. Right now on your paper, take this fraction, write down what it would be in word form, and then write down what you think the decimal would be. Pause the video and write it down. So you should have written 5 tenths as the word form. Then the decimal would be 0.5 or just 0.5. These are all simple fractions and all of their denominators are 10. Now, let's look at something a little bit more complicated. Let's look at mixed numbers. This number says 2 and 1/10. Now, the decimal point is the word and. If you remember a long time ago when we talked about reading whole numbers, we never said the word and because and really means and pieces. So 2 and 1/10. We don't say 2 wholes. We just say 2 and 1/10 or 2.1. And again, let's look at this here. 4 and 7/10. 4.7. 4 is our whole. 4 ones. 4 and 7/10. Now I want you to try one. Pause the video, write out the word form and the decimal form for the mixed number below. So you should have written 6 and 3/10 for your word form. And then the decimal point is 6.3. 6 and 3/10. Now, let's try all of these on your own. Pause the video and write again the word form and the decimal form for each of these 1 fraction and 2 mixed numbers. 2 tenths, 0.2 or 0.2, same as we did a little earlier. The next one, 6 and 8/10, 6.8. Now this was something a little bit new. We hadn't used a double-digit whole number before, but it really is the same as a single digit. This says 25 and 4/10. So you'd write down 25.4. And we're going to practice this a bit more as we continue learning this week.